I don't pretend to go uptown and be anything fancy. I can, but I find more real in the world that I'm in than I do the tinsel, the one I have to deal with every day. You know? Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
Let the bass kick.
Playtime been over since y'all dropped the ball. Bound to the continent, there's no asylum for y'all. Pushing the black Asiatic game with Ford L and Pool Bay. Before NOI, I rep draw L all day. How many fakes proclaim to be the reincarnation and claim to be the true head of the Moorish nation? No mention of me ill, but I read his letters. Dirty Moors mad cause they thought they dead as letters. Many were there when decisions were handed down. Now they claim that me Leo was not ordained, not commissioned, not called or appointed. With divine plans for ages, but Dirty Moors making changes, working with FBI during infiltrations. In a pheasant alleys giving bogey smoke inhalations. In secret walls are made, heads are made in public mentions. Don't believe, get the minutes of the first convention. Kirkman and Lomax Bay got called out as villains against the prophet's order and L. Paul Gibbons. Thousands of Moorish Americans followed those leaders that killed the prophet and made Moors parrots not readers. They don't study, brains hollow. To crush the truth, plant dissension in the ones that follow. Rob the treasury, felt like they hit the lotto. Took advantage of the faithful Moors in the times of sorrow. Moments still critical, 100 years later, the message. Stick to the principles in your actions, be progressive. Don't sell your soul for a title, take your membership role. Watch out for grand cheeks pushing you in a censorship hole. The sellout was great, now they comfy and won't get the hell out. Active Moors come around, they get clumsy. Not humbly, but act grumpy and jumpy. Active Moors see them touchy and think it's lovely. With faces ugly, I push back so don't shove me. If not for love, it would be just as Dirty Moors get from me. Hitting all reincarnates and writs of discovery and demanding the treasury recovery and law for money. Wearing a fez don't make you a Moorish addict. Dirty Moorish heads are Boy Scouts and cadets. Working for FBI inspectors, slaves for gadgets. Claiming they got pulled, but they're really dead magnets. Running a fraud that's done cause new Moors are here. One for all for one profit like musketeers. Bay, not Tampa or Buccaneers. I strike nerves like harp on strings on those puppeteers. Pushing misconceptions as features and calling it facts. Swinging my scimitar, tongue not a fireman's axe. Quick to call me out as dirty, say I violate acts. If you don't nationalize, know that I annihilate blacks. Nailing through their palms with insects on beams of wood. Burn crosses on black lawns in my Moorish hood. Black Klansmen like movie from 1960. White power, not supremacy like Clayton Bigsby. Now I run through illusions, battling my arch nemesis, misconfusion. She's been trying to keep me out of course, facing losses, calling all her negative forces. 99 years past, Drew Ali said 50 would pass, and you wouldn't know about me, or even know what I brought for you. NOI and UNIA knew about him too. Most thought that they could bury the movement, be in charge, passive and abuse it. But Drew said new Moors would come with eyes open, seeing and knowing, far from hoping. Far from belief in faith, master fruition. Study the laws of nature, activate intuition. One day our wheels of industry will stop, and when it starts again, Moors will be on top. Drew Ali blessed with latent power. Warned you, get out the way of the ground to powder. Drew Ali didn't kill you fast, but he brought you your title and estate vast. Confusion continues to confuse, no remembrance of Maghrib al-Aqsa by Moorish descendants. I run through illusions, battling my arch nemesis, misconfusion. She's been trying to keep me out of course, facing losses, calling all her negative forces. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When the truth gets revealed, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, on the real. When I uplift the fallen humans from the ashes, the phoenix will rise and live on after it clashes. Feathers and head wraps, costume bar sashes. Atlantis and Pangea was us ruling the atlas. The mundane, some god, a numb brain. Drew that is reincarnate, some self-proclaimed. taking the lessons from Quran questions. Bible as my rolling pad, holy book, circle 7. Forerunner Marcus Garvey coming in the whirlwind. Moorish Boba Muftis in the black turban. Pioneer exposed as the triple crown glows. Every negus has the negus as his throne. The temple as the body. Truth as my shotty, with no bulge, I'm still armed without the robbery. Master arts martial, and they marshal the law. Peace office of use authority, fracture your jaw. Clapping at y'all at bachelor parties. Not knowing whether it's controlled by HAARP. Stopping the tapping of UH frequency. Sent to the higher self from Sirius B, or maybe Sirius A. The reverse is serious internet radio play. Like square shreddies are now diamond and new. Misleading, they charge a bill 50 for a shoe. It takes $5 to make. They load trucks with bins. Same goes for cars, construction teams. So clean, no scuffs. Revolution chumps, reclining in the armchair, speechless like mumps. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably yo squeal. Change is coming. I'm watching hybrids running for shade, cause Earth's hot, not like a preheat oven. Raid the stores for UV protection. If AIDS can go through the condoms, who you protecting? Neglecting the truth and lie accepting. Not entropy, a person, reparations expecting. Planes going down, but you're not ejecting. Too busy crossing with the spinning rims and white feet flexing. Fronts are fake elements, that's not real gold. Running from police with guns is not too bold, cause you got a gun but won't shoot back, son, or shoot first and earn your way off earth. Suicide is a sin and sin is ignorance. Not thinking clear makes you ignorant. Missing the message. Ego filling your brain with nonsensical thoughts just to drive you insane. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. Our leaders labeled black, they were assigned to us. As ancients, we flew. We didn't have to ride the bus or drink at their fountain. We didn't even need our own. The gun is a penis and every man is holding a chrome. Thinking it's tough, but when you shoot, you bust. Like Vixens holding you in with the camel with clutch. Smoking a Dutch, but taught much against the master. Sellouts will pay karmic debt in the life after. Don't believe me, seek the truth. I hear Hail Hitler when I play back these hip-hop loops that rap hip-hop. Nas said it's dead. Same gun he raps about, shot Jay in the head. Cripple a team. These ball players, they cripple a dream. Counting the asses that they slap but won't get a bad rap. And rap sheets are written by them. It's police.
Love. We're here for our day 4. Day 4. This is to all the Moors. Welcome to Canaanland Moors. So we're just honoring, you know what I mean, the Prophet, giving him his salutes, because he definitely went in for the Moors. Went in for the Moors. We want to start off with notes from the convention. Science Temple of America Incorporated, National Divine Movement of North America, a convention to be remembered. Convention a big success. Delegates assemble from 15 states. Prominent men deliver addresses. The first annual convention of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the greatest success of any convention in Chicago. There were delegates from 15 different states. As was expected by the Prophet, Although many of the temples did not represent according to the numerical strength of them. At least time, people weren't backing this, and they were Moors. Not our time, where, you know, our people aren't backing this and they're Moors. Back then, recognize what he was up against. Because he's not talking about any jurisdiction other than Moors. This is the Moorish convention. This is not some convention where anybody just walk off the street. This is closed door. This is invite only. And the Moors, not even for himself. You don't want to honor him? You're going to honor these guys $500,000 to build a school, but you're not going to honor this man. You're going to honor these people who came out of their mouth and said that they got El Haj Malik El Shabazz killed. Rep Noble Jwali. You're gonna rep people who put Khalid Muhammad on ice. But you're not gonna rep Noble Jwali though. You're gonna rep all these Moors that got fezzes on, talking BS about Taj Tariq Bey and Raz Mariah V. Bey. You're going to talk BS about them. Right? Recognize that we've been dealing with sellouts in the Moorish movement. This is not new. We're not just talking BS. People from back then are still around today. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? About the infiltration happened back in the 1920s. What are you talking about? Traded, ran the Moorish movement for 80, 90 years. We know this because, you know, I'm card-carrying member of Moorish Science Temple. I'm card-carrying member of Moorish Science Temple. I'm not just Grand Sheikh Kudro or whatever. I was a member of a temple before I do Grand Sheikh and all that. And all these people out here in Moorish Science Temple that call themselves adepts or whatever, they know about Canaanland Moors because it was news. When Moorish Science Temple of America in Canada, 2008. 2008. 2010, that I don't even know how they got my number. Cell number calling me. I know these people. All on some congratulations. Canaanland Moors on RV Bey publications is because we kiss RV Bey's ass or something like that? You think have Taj Tariq Bey's phone number and be calling him every time I have a question? I'm calling him like a jackass. Call him and say Islam, everything's straight, you're good. All right, peace of Islam, and that's that. I don't need him. But you talk BS about people when BS about our master teachers are the ones that got taught by the ones that sold out, that helped kill Noble Drew Ali. I'm telling you this. The ill faction, whether it's Kurtman Bey faction, whether it's reincarnated faction, whether it's Inc faction, all of them sold you out. Oh, I have Bailey Ill's number. Ain't no issue. You're not talking to me with Taharka, like how Taharka talks with those people, because they, you know, they're not doing stuff the right way and they're not really a grand sheik and all that stuff. All I hear is, hey, keep doing what you're doing, man. You're hearing a lot about the works that you're doing in Canaanland and like things are growing over there and whatever. And these people are talking BS at us. That we wouldn't even be in this position. We wouldn't even be in this position. Canaanland right now. That they themselves, Noble Drew Ali is their prophet. And he told them that they're not Negro, black, colored. And they're not going against that. Because Noble Drew Ali said that. Forget studying whatever. Whoever came and said that. Because we've been black, Negro, whatever, colored, whatever. We've been all the stuff up here. Just because of the island's influence, which goes back to Queen and Pope and, you know what I mean? Give you the cross. Let that be your religion. Go pick something and boil that to heal yourself. You go and you go a doctor if you have a problem. Don't worry, Queen will take care of you. These Moors know that if they go to court, they're standing on their square. People do, because they're a fraud. Dismiss, throw me under the bus, doesn't matter. All I know is I came in here and I let you frauds know who I am. Because out here, you know, state republics and all that BS, it's from the Supreme Court of Canada down to family court, everybody's fraud. All government offices fraud. That's just what it is. Because they didn't agree to be part of the union. So because they didn't agree, they did their own thing. Moors know this. Moors know that if you go on the United States Securities and Exchange Commission's website, CIK number 0000230098. A page is going to come up that's going to tell you Canada's a corporation. You're not going to hear what we're saying. We give you the stuff to show. You're going to listen to a guy who's doing a class using a PowerPoint but showing you definitions. Definitions are in dictionaries, not in PowerPoints. It's where the goddamn definition came from that they're looking up on their PowerPoint. And these people are supposed to be studious and scholarly and representatives of the Moorish Science Temple. You're taking them serious? Regardless of who it is. I already put it out there that if you want to get down with who we say the master teachers are, rocks. Like we don't really care. There's people out there who've been played, who really want to know about their nationality, but they're getting played around in these temples like this is some club and they can't get a Quran yet and all that type of stuff. When this is their birthright, Quran is their birthright. What do you mean Grand Sheikh said you can't get a Quran? What do you mean? Some more classes and all that stuff. What the hell are you talking about? But this is the sellout that made its way all the way to 2018. These Negroes with fezzes and turbans on in control of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And they're trying to have you think that, you know, trust when I tell you. Trust when I tell you. The fear that these people have, the fear, the reason why they talk how they talk about certain people, right, is because they fear being nobody. This is why, again, they do this, use people's name to get likes and get thumbs ups and all this stuff. And trust me, I tested out to know. Call the Umar Johnson classes something different. Johnson just to see what the hell happens. I called it that, just to see. Guess what happened? Everybody jumped to go watch, because the thing right now is this guy Johnson going to some tribunal, so everybody wants to see every video having to do with that, when that's some BS. 98% of the videos on that, because none of them are telling you that it's a fraud. That's not a court. That lady up there wasn't a judge. It was some BS. Why is it BS? Just to get you distracted, to keep you into some nonsensical. He's a prince of Pan-Africanism. And he's going to these Europeans on some stand-up when this lady comes in the room. She's not even a judge or whatever. Take these people serious. When the prophet came 100 years ago with something so serious, anything that these people could give our people. Forget prophet. Noble Drew Ali came. I know you people like your BS. When you said prophet, you guys worship somebody. Forget that. Noble Drew Ali brought everything that is going to take to save a nation, and told the Moors, take it and save yourself. Why? Because everybody already been saved. You're the only jackasses out here that don't want to be Moors. Everybody else has a nationality. Nobody's questioning, should they, shouldn't they? It doesn't matter what religion they are. They got nationality. Nah. They got all these leaders, fezzes on, dashikis on, whatever oils that they're wearing that they got from, you know what I mean, some other planet. But they're not telling you about your birthrights. And you're taking these people serious. And everything, everybody in the world has a nationality, except Negroes. Only these dummies in North America, only them. And then you have bigger dummies that have fezzes on that are supposed to know certain things. Moors and people who aren't part of this, because trust me, people who aren't part of this, when they watch certain Moors, immediately they're turned off from Moors. They're turned off from Moors. They don't even want nothing to do with it. They don't want to look at it because, you know, they saw this, they saw that, they heard this, whatever, whatever. I don't want to do that. Well, a Moor is any dark-skinned person, especially African Negro Moor. So what are you talking about? You don't want to be Moors. How you don't want to be Moors? And again, about the black leaders sellout people. We know about them already. We already know about them. The Moors sellout people, you should be worried about. Forget the black guys that sold you out. These dirty Moors, whose job was to cause utter confusion. So people don't know what their birthright is. They should, because I mean, if they have a birthright, that means they came from a mom. And you should, I mean, if you came from a mom, you should know what your birthright is. It's just, you know. Just stop somebody. Hey, what's birthright? They'll give you an answer. Don't ask a Negro. There's a lot more. Yo.
I had to take myself off mute.
No, it's all good. I got on the horse for a little bit just now.
Yeah, I heard you.
Because these Moors going crazy. But yeah, I was just some notes of the convention, but there's 3 more days, you know what I mean? So we were talking earlier about this idea of people who say that they're Moors, but they're talking against, very related to Moors, you know, and they try to play this division like they're on some higher plane than we're on. The things we were building about these recent video about the treaty lies or whatever.
Absolutely.
Right? And there was a few points that I wrote. Where the hell's that paper at? There was a few points that that we were gonna talk about, but I can't find my paper right now. More American and Moorish American. So they showed the cards and they said that these cards say more American, so they're against the Prophet, they're against Noble Drew Ali and whatever else, right? Now, when you go into the literature, the Moorish literature, there are instances where Noble Drew Ali addresses Moors. Right? Now, remember, he's talking to people in the temple, but he says Moors, not Moorish American, Moors. A historical perspective, Moors. And then he would give you a synonym. In one of the writings, he says Moors as Mohammedans. Right? Lets you know that Moors were Mohammedan. And if you hear Mohammedan, know that you're talking about Moors. Right? Now, when you look up his 101 questionnaire and he told you why you're Moorish American, it's because you're a descendant of Morocco, born in America. You're a descendant of Morocco, born in America. So if you're a descendant of Morocco, more. If you're Moorish, if you're American, that means you're Moor. So to say more American or Moorish American, because a Moor American and a Moorish American is a descendant of a Moroccan. And remember, they're going to talk their BS about who does the treaty apply to and who does the treaty this and that. But they just did a class of talking a whole 2 hours that over here is Morocco.
That is the whole thing. I don't get it. Their own videos killing themselves.
Their own videos killing themselves. Because how do you have nothing to do between Morocco and United States, but you just did a video talking about over here is Morocco? If over here is Morocco, then that means over here is not the United States. If over here is not the United States and it's Morocco, a Moroccan treaty have nothing to do with you. How? You have this I was talking with Brother Mario about this earlier. You know dirty Moors because they separate law and history.
Say that again?
You know dirty Moors because they separate law and history. That's how you know them. Just like they separate national and divine. They don't put those pillars together. and have you think that they're the authority of the Moorish whatever, when they're not even dealing with the two perspectives as one. They're deliberately doing that. They're deliberately separating history and law. This history, they let you know they don't study law. So how are they going to know history?
It's colored.
Their position colored. Right? Their position is colored now because they separated history and law. And they've been. It's not, they just did that yesterday. They've been separated history and law and let you know what their position is, that they don't deal with law. They deal with statutes, acts, and honorable. They say so themselves. They bring lawyers on their platform, which is color. That's not no lawful authority of somebody that knows jurisprudence. A lawyer, that's who you bring on. And then worse is that Moors are like, hey, yeah, the lawyer said that, whatever. Stupid. Clearly you don't study. Anything to add to the Moor and Moorish American and the Morocco? Because I know you have something there with regard to these treaties.
Now, because I wrote it on, I got my notes right here.
Yeah, where the hell's my notes at?
At the hour and 4 minute part, he says, if this treaty was applied to you, then why weren't we released? So he's like, basically, you know, and if it is enforceable, why can't we use it? Why when we were enslaved, we couldn't use it then? Moors, to give examples of Moors who used the treaty to get out of. Now, nobody never mentions the Sundry Free Moors Act and nothing like that. I was waiting for somebody to say anything about it. Nobody never said nothing about the nation. But first, because he kept saying we were slaves. A slave is someone, a Slavic. So that's the truth and falsehood strangely mixed right there. And then we know that the Moors, we could never be slaves if prisoners of war. That's not a slave. That's totally different. Prisoners of war. But he's making it seem like he came from the transatlantic slave trade.
That's how it sounded to me.
Say that again?
That's how it sounded to me.
That's the only way he can make it seem. Because if he keeps saying that he was a slave, we was enslaved in 1787, he helping us out. He was that's truth and falsehood strangely mixed. Right there. All right. I have a book. It's called United States and Morocco from 1776 to 1956. Now, Luella J. Hall, she was a Stanford graduate. Over 20 years of extensive research on the comparison of Native American and Eastern connections.
Okay, hold on a sec. Just to put this in there, right? Keep in mind, the dirty Moors like to say, you know, when they bring up their little facts, well, this comes from a whoever graduate, or they're a lawyer, or they're a whatever professional, and you should listen to what they say because they know what they're talking about because they're professional. Start over again with her name and run down her credentials again.
graduate, over 20 years of extensive research with Native American studies and Eastern connections. And she has a very in-depth dissertation on the Moors. So that was basically her whole like development of what she was to study the Moors, the Moroccan relationship with the United States and all the other quote unquote countries, France and everything else. But that's the book of it. The name of the book again is United States of Morocco, 1776 to 1956. It's the Library of Congress, catalog card number 71-1422. If you wanted to look up in the Library of Congress, it's in there too. But she says in her book, okay, because he's saying during this 1787, we were enslaved. Okay. What she says here, on chapter 1, page 11, in 19th centuries, Morocco stayed aloof in political progress and remained medieval in economy and government. The Maghreb has had many connections with Asia, such as colonization by Phoenicians, conquest by Arabic population and culture, and collusion with original Islamic empire. She even states here that during the 18th and 19th century was economy and feudal in government. So we were the head. So there's no way that Moors can be enslaved if we were feudal in government. We were it. And also, on 39, she says, the Mediterranean, many champions of both crosses and crescents became pirates and preyed upon each other's ships and shores. The enslavement of captives, both parties in the Holy War, and the galley slaves furnished the motive power of many vessels of all types. Reports of atrocities suffered by Christian slaves in Barbary arose great sympathy for them in Europe. And in 1199, Holy Trinity and redemption of captives was founded in Paris. Its members, known as Mithrans, devoted their lives to ransoming captives and ameliorating their conditions while in prison. So, that's again, the Moors enslaving Europeans. I don't understand again when he's saying that we were enslaved.
Right. Now to add on to that too, Brother Abdullah, Moors and Masonry, page 44. The tribute treaties prove that the imperial divan, as adopted by the ancient Arabic order, mystic shrine, is the name of the Moroccan Council of Government. The tribute treaties between the Moroccan Empire and the European powers establish the following facts. What can be concluded from the tribute treaties between the Moroccan Empire and the European powers negotiating during the 1500s, 1700s, 1600s, and 1700s? The Moroccan Empire had extensive diplomatic relations with France, Netherlands, and England during the 1500s, 1600s, and 1700s. Morocco was a dominant trading, seafaring, and commercial power in the 1600s, and 1700s. France, Netherlands, and England paid annual tributes to the Moroccan Empire for the protection of their ships and merchants during the 1600s and the 1700s. And then that goes right with what you're saying about and and having to pay the protection to also not just protect the ships, but even the crew of the ship.
Yep.
The tribute treaties show that the Europeans were captured by Moroccans and held in Moorish captivity. The tribute treaties prove that the Moroccan Moors were captured by Europeans and held in European captivity. The tribute treaties unveil that the Moroccan Moors seized the European ships. Prove that the imperial divan, as adopted by the ancient Arabic order of the nobles of the mystic shrine, is the Moroccan Council of Government. To say that their perspective of some Europeans being in the Americas is that they came over here to found some government of something. They didn't come over here. They were escaping something why they came over here. And what did they do? Protection, just like all the so-called slaves or whatever that got out of slavery, went under the protection of the Sultan. What did they do? They enforced the treaty. Why? Because they know that they were in the Moroccan Empire. What else are you going to enforce if you're over here? What law are you going to enforce if you're a foreigner in this land and somebody's violating you? They didn't have no acts and statutes or whatever back then. They didn't have no ordinances and city of whoever that made up some law that you can't park here.
Yeah.
And again,
let me add on real quick.
Yeah, more.
Real quick.
Go in more.
It said, same book, the 17th century, because he said in 1787,
right, yeah,
we were enslaved.
Right.
Okay. The 17th century was one of for the pirates. The strength and audacity of the corsairs was augmented in 1609 by the expulsion of Moriscos from Spain. Operated on the seas, but also invaded the coast and inland districts of Italy.
Hold on. Go back again to the expulsion of what frame was that?
17th century in 1609 by the expulsion of the in the 1609 the expulsion of the Moriscos from Spain.
Okay,
they
so now
operated on the seas, the coast and inland districts of Italy, Spain, and the Mediterranean islands on robbing and kidnapping expeditions. Finally, they ventured to attack the coast of England, Ireland, and Iceland. The Moroccan pirates frequented the Atlantic. I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, they're on the run. Look at all these people. Quote, Italy, Spain, Iceland, Ireland, England. They're on the run. There's no time to be enslaving quote unquote black people or Africans. They're on the run.
No time.
They don't have no time.
Right, and this is the thing with the concept that if once you have the warped separation of law and history mindset, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship was some governmental whatever, you're out to lunch. You're lost. Because remember, it had nothing to do with citizens and all that. It had to do with Islam versus Christendom. Now remember, you can't separate church. You can't separate church and state either. What do they call it in history? The Barbary powers or the Barbary Wars. Now we know if you watch MHHS or listen to MHHS, Eyes Wide Open, Mother Anita was talking about last night. See Barbary, you have to know that that's Moors.
Yeah.
Anytime you see Barbary powers, Barbary wars, Barbary pirates, Barbary anything, is talking about Moors.
Yep. All you gotta do is go to your phone, go to Arabic translation, English to Arabic translation, type in the word Barbary. It's gonna come up. It's gonna be that simple. It's that simple.
Okay. So then, all right. So then, let's play with Noble Drew Ali. Okay. So forget Moor American, Moorish American, and then Barbary means Moorish, right? If Barbary means Moorish, then how are these Moors telling you that they have nothing to do with the treaty?
Ishmael came on there and said, it says Barbary treaties because he doesn't study. He doesn't study. If it says he thinks Barbary means whatever.
Means some pale Arabs.
Yeah.
Barbary means some pale Arabs. But hold on a second. They're gonna say Barbary means some pale Arabs, and they're gonna talk BS. But how come the Holy Quran picture with the pale Arab in there that Noble Drew Ali put in there? Think that these people are with the Prophet? The same treaty people. Noble Drew Ali has them in the Quran that these people have, that they say they go to their Friday meetings and they read the Quran and all that. They're gonna say they have nothing to do with the Moroccan anything. Nothing. All they have is Moorish Science Temple of America. That's it. These people are fraud. Do you understand? Trying to pigeonhole your mind? Trying every week mind? These people, they're talking for 2 hours about how they have nothing to do with this treaty. Dealt with the treaty, Noble Drew Ali has them in the Quran. And you're taking these people serious. What they do for Noble Drew Ali Week? We've been doing classes. You know what I mean? To show our honors. What they've been doing. Humanitarian, how come it's not documented and so everybody could see what they're doing? What are they hiding? If they are honoring him at all. Because again, like we said today, is this Moor using Noble Drew Ali Week, Moorish American Week, to cause division. You honor Noble Drew Ali so much that you take the week that he said Moors are supposed to honor him or whatever, and you're playing some divisive BS. Only sellouts move like that. Only sellouts move like that.
Yeah.
Only. Yeah, more. Bring it all, yo. Bring it all. Bring them all tonight. Bring them all. Shut these clowns down.
During the 18th century, Spain had several conflicts with Morocco and Algeria. She made treaties with both and also with Tunisia. Great Britain received strategic posts of Gibraltar from Spain in 1713 and audited books recording the tributes paid to the Barbary powers, with that word, Barbary, that's Moorish, to the Moorish powers would have shown a booming business. Regular tributes first assessed by Moulay Ismail were being paid to Morocco by the Netherlands, Venice, Sweden, Norway, Austria, Denmark, and Sardinia. The other Barbary states were also exacting large payment in the 18th century. It was still paying. All of these countries still paying annual tribute to the Moors.
Annual.
In the 18th century.
Right. And also too, the perspective that when Noble Drew Ali, descendants of Moroccan, that's how you got tied to the 10,000-year-old history that these people want to avoid. Over here is Morocco, though. They know over here is Morocco. That has nothing to do with them. That the sultans in the Quran, but treaty has nothing to do with them. They know that Barbary, well, they didn't know that Barbary means Moorish, because they're making you think that the Barbary were some pale people.
Yeah.
When that's not what was going on. Don't listen to them. Remember, these were the people who, in the 90s or whatever, they were going to Great Seal classes and all that. You think they don't know what's up? The question is, how much did they accept? Because there's no way you can make it this far. And when I told the Moors, a couple of the Moors that put me through the Adab chamber, when I went to them and I told them, or I asked them, yo, what do you think about Sharif Bey? They said, oh, Sharif Bey? He's one of the most obvious Moors out there from the history perspective and the law. Well, you guys hear that Sharif Bey's dissing Taj and saying that sovereign stuff doesn't work or whatever? Their mouth on the ground. These are adepts now. Their mouth on the ground. Because they're like, what are you talking about? There's no way. There's no way. It's impossible that you're telling me that about Taj Street Bey. No way. Right? Blew them away. That he's talking BS about the master teacher, who they themselves know is a master teacher. These adepts. You know what I mean? They give him high honors. And then these people talking about, well, it's not like I don't like them. Well, if you like someone, why would you say that things that they say get people murdered when that didn't even happen? If you like somebody, why would you keep cutting their picture out and putting it on these stupid things to try to use on a video? So clearly you have no honor. And also we were talking about Brother Yusuf, mum's the word.
Yeah.
Talking about mum's the word. How cowardice is it to talk BS about some elders? How cowardice is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then beyond that, how cowardice is it for him to go after a mother? That's the colonizer's job, to go after mother. Starts going after mother, that lets you know their mindset. That lets you know their mindset. How do you know? Because go check. Repping some Brooklyn or whatever. These are more. He's repping some Brooklyn. I didn't know Moorish jurisdiction. That's corporate jurisdiction. And then on top of that, stuff tight like Leroy. Like these people think that this is fame and this is exercise video or something like that. You wearing tight stuff. But you're promoting somebody's product. You gotta promote them so bad that you had to wear the medium shirt, fat boy. You had to wear the medium shirt. You couldn't wait for the large shirt. You had to plug them so bad. What did they give you? What do you owe them that you had to put on the squeeze up shirt?
Yep.
A big man with a son.
Right to the back room.
Wearing some tight spandex shirt. Talking about Moors that have nothing to do with stuff. And the worst is people who take these people serious. Because trust that the people who we look at as the master teachers, like most of the time, they pay their own way. People trying to make it sound like people got some secret vault or something like that, full of finance that they took from people. That's where they're going. When again, Juali told these Moors they need finance. You know, our biggest plight is economic. And people who are taking finance and doing some good with it, the people who want to take your $5 and not show you anything, just give you some papers, right? The people who want to tell you notes for a 5-minute conversation on the phone. The people who want to tell you, yeah, give us money for the GoFundMe and all that stuff so we can build whatever that they never build. Like, yeah, we did GoFundMe, but we have the studio, we have the albums to prove that what we did with the finance.
Mm-hmm.
We have the albums, plural. We have the albums to prove that, yeah, we had a GoFundMe and we took some finance from people for us to start a studio. Okay, well, studio is built and we put out albums. Talk about just taking finance. Doing nothing. When you make an order from RV Bey Publications, you know how much stuff you get? You're not going to RV Bey Publications, buying a book and getting one book. Anybody who ever bought something from RV Bey Publications and only got one thing, anybody who bought something from RV Bey Publications, if you bought something from RV Bey Publications and they sent you only what you ordered, send an email, canaanlandguide@gmail.com, because we want to know who you are. How come you only got one thing? And I bet you it's going to be some story behind it about you're some clown. That's why you only got one thing. Sending 500 emails about BS. Everybody else package, they're like, oh, damn.
But it's every time you order.
Every time you order. Not once.
Every time
you order.
You get more than what you ordered.
Every time you ordered. Every single time. There's not one time when you order and don't get more than what you order. And these people are trying to tell you that they're trying to take people's finance. Honor. Because Noble Juali said, to change the people, you must change the literature. And all they sell is literature. Against the prophet. All, quote unquote, RV Bey Publications is a publication company that produces Moorish literature. And Moors are telling you, don't support them, they're stealing your finance. This clown to go buy some freaking abandoned buildings that have grass growing out stuff. Our Science Temple of America, they can just go to the city, sit down with the mayor, and pick any building that they want. Don't forget, these people already went to their little, meeting, got their certificate or proclamation, whatever, from the city and all that stuff. So they technically have the city in their back pocket. How come there isn't more Science Temple of America everywhere? How come these Moors who have these connections with mayors or whoever haven't talked with, to know that, okay, well, you know, go talk with the mayor and, you know, we already made the hookup for you. Oh, but because these people aren't about unity. They're about taking Noble Drew Ali, taking Moorish American Week, and using it to create some division opposed to unifying the Moors. Well, okay, fine. If they want to be divided, we're going to continue drawing the line in the sand. Right? That the division is active Moors and dirty Moors. Pick a side. There's no in between. National and divine at all times. History and law at all times. No separation. Dirty Moors, other than that. And don't forget, divine is very broad. National is very broad. So, you know, don't think that we excluded. But no, be completely sure that when these people start playing this game with you, and start bringing up mother, who, you know, saved lives out here.
Yep.
Saved lives out here.
More than that.
More than that. Actually, yeah, more, because I know you got probably some on that. What has RV Bay Publications done for you being where you're at?
With this on a low scale, just to quickly say it, it's, you can just tell the difference with library in my house. I have a crazy library in my house. What Lacey said, all of the above. Is this more healthier for you? Everything. That's just on a lower scale, but that's not off there, you know, helping me dismiss charges or quote unquote charges, or not even none of those stories, or getting pulled over by highwaymen. Just the regular, just the thought process. Just, you know, reminding me of the prophet so he can tell me just to be yourself. RV Bay Publications run that simple thing back. It's on the lower, this something real quick. Than that. I'm pretty sure Moore's got plenty, tons of stories.
Crazy ones.
Crazy stories.
Yep.
The only reason why we can do it is because of RV Bay Publication. That's the foundation.
The only way.
There's no other website you can go on and get a better foundation than RV Bay Publication. And if you do, I'm pretty sure it's branched off of RV Bay Publications.
Yes.
Because that's the foundation. RV Bay Publication.
And again, you know what I mean? Go do the check. Do the check on how many Moorish Science Temple of Americas have a website. How many?
Yep.
How many of them have a website? How many of them have? And if they do have a website, what's on there? Are they teaching me? Are they teaching you? Are they teaching us the truth about our birthrights, or are they just trying to make you think they know more about Noble Drew Ali than anybody else? Because proving that you know about Noble Drew Ali ain't nothing. What are you doing with what you know about Noble Drew Ali? That's what it's about. Implies you better be active, because Noble Drew Ali brought you a movement. It's supposed to be stagnant. This is why, again, other than Moorish Science Temple of America events, right? What are these Moors doing outside of those things? Because they don't have events that often. And again, with the upload generation, if you got YouTube page and stuff like that, how come all your stuff is at your computer? You ain't got no videos outside of that basement or room or wherever it is that they're doing their stuff at. You know what I mean? You build with this page, he's outside sometimes. You know what I mean? You go on, you know, Canaanland Moors, you know, we're always everywhere. All types of stuff.
Yeah.
How is it that they're limited? And, you know, going back to the thing with Morocco, there's no, like if Noble Drew Ali said that we're Moors, Moorish, and we're Moroccan and whatever, and then we go to the treaty and it's the Moroccan treaty, but in the treaty it's saying if a Moor does whatever, who you think they're talking to? They're talking to some pale people called Moors? If the treaty mentions Moor in it and you say you're a Moorish American and you're saying that has nothing to do with me because it doesn't say Moorish American, you're a damn fool. Fool.
Yeah.
And again, these people were supposed to, because remember, the Negro problem was supposed to be solved already. Mr. High just commented that, you know, the UN troops are now up in Chicago now. Because they're about to solve the Negro problem. Negroes don't want to solve their own problems. They need a savior all the time. Okay, well, hey, here comes your savior. UN.
I got a question for you, Green Sheet.
Now,
two of them for you. Now, how they don't never go nowhere, and you know, outside of that basement. Speaking of that, I didn't see nothing from the Moorish Science Temple acknowledging Noble Drew Ali Day.
Even that.
Now, why? Now, my question is, why is it the videos being made about separating the Moors instead of the unification of Noble Drew Ali Day? Like, it wasn't none of that. Like, this video he put out
was a slander campaign.
The total opposite of what the Prophet was teaching.
Yeah. And it always is. It was Ishmael Bey that had to come on there and tell him that here's Morocco.
Yep. His
scholar guy. But when the active Moor told him over here is Al Morocco, which is Morocco.
And my other one was because he had said in the hour and 9 minutes 22 seconds. Well, if the treaty was to protect you, why didn't the Prophet say anything about it?
If the treaty was to protect you, why the Prophet didn't say anything about it? Well, let's see. Let's see what the Prophet said about the treaty in his own stuff. Because remember, they're going to keep playing this game like we're not with the Prophet and we're not enforcing what the Prophet said or whatever, right?
Yep.
Now this is This is Noble Drew Ali. I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. So if he's calling on all citizens that stand for the enforcement of the Constitution, that means he enforced it. He was down with the Constitution being enforced, right? Now they tried to make a mockery of the good brother, Mario L. Bey, and they were talking about, well, we're not showing this to make a mockery. We're just showing this because, you know, whatever. Now, the part that they were playing over and over again was Brother Mario saying that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land and bringing up Article 6. You know, what they don't do ever is give you reference points. They always talk off the cup. Active Moors give you reference points. Go to RV Bay, you get so much. You can make a book of references from RV Bay website.
That's right.
You can make a book called RV Bay References. And you can make a book, maybe a 50-page book, website, every single page, every single tab, every single push here download. And you can come up with a book of just references from that website. Forget the stuff that they know in their mind that, you know, their spirit and whatever working in tune and Allah uses them to talk about stuff. Forget that. Just the stuff that they reference for you to go study so you can do better. Just like what Abdullah said with the Moors and Masonry book. I didn't make this book because to make a book. I made this book so you have some reference stuff to go study. Right? So Article 6. Remember, Noble Drew Ali was a constitutional enforcer. Right? Article 6. All debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States under this Constitution as under the Confederation. Okay? So all debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution. And then before the adoption of the Constitution was Articles of Confederation, Association, etc. Right? The Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, or which shall be made, under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land. So if the Constitution and the laws, which shall be made, and treaties, which shall be made, would mean that these documents go together. Remember, these are the same people who do the separation of the history and the law. They do the separation of the divine and national. Now they're doing the separation of the Constitution and treaty. And remember, before a Constitution, all there was treaties. Which is why in 1826, there was a treaty between Hawaii and the United States that they say Hawaii never did a treaty with the United States. Well, if Hawaii never did a treaty with the United States, how come there's a treaty between Hawaii and the United States? But remember, they throw stuff out there.
Why is there a treaty with the United States?
They throw stuff out there, right? Throwing stuff out there because they think that you're a dumbass like them and don't study. Remember what we say in all our classes. Don't believe me, check it out. Don't believe what we say. Go check everything and see if what we say matches up with what some other people out there say. That's the only way you're going to find your way with regard to this. Other than that, you're not finding your way, because all you're going to be doing is bumping into people like these who take Noble Drew Ali's literature, contort it to their will, and present it to you as that's how it is, when that's not how it is. These people messed up the stuff. And again, Article 6 told you that Constitution and the treaties is the supreme law of the land.
Yep.
Right? And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Now, if the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary is notwithstanding. Anything contrary to the Constitution is notwithstanding. So why are they telling you about statutes, acts, ordinances, and all that stuff, which are contrary to the Constitution?
Yep.
Because trust me, all those acts, all those statutes are contrary to the Constitution. Why? Because those things were created by people who didn't have delegated authority. They went out and did their own stuff. And now you're running with them like they're legitimate. They're illegitimate. They never have been legitimate. And the only way that they become legitimate is when you give them your power. When you give them your energy, that's how they become legitimate. Other than that, they wouldn't exist. Think about all the dirty Moors who we exposed. Right? Think about all the dirty Moors and think about how many of them just disappeared.
Yep.
We exposed them to the point where the people who were following them stopped following them. And they just disappeared. People you don't hear of. There used to be people that they were always calling Kudro. But what happens? You can't battle truth. It's impossible. You lose every time. That's all it is that we're doing. And the truth that I got from rvbaypublications.com, Taj Street Bey, Alimel Bey, Asir the Duke of Tears, Hakeem Bey, Obashango L, Rudra Sut Notorio L, C. Freeman L. Like, I know what I got is truth. None of these fools are going to tell me that they have some jurisdiction over our temple that we need to send them anything about verify something. Get the hell out of here. All you guys are sellouts. We know this. It's not that we don't know. Like why you think it's such I'll say hatred towards active Moors by people who are in the temple, because we made them look bad, because they're supposed to be doing what we're doing and they're not.
Yep.
They're choosing to go pray or be prey or prey on people. But we're out here putting this word out, you know what I mean? Getting people to, you know, even if they don't completely grasp how to exercise their right, they're studying. They're definitely studying. And why are they studying? Because the people who put them on didn't play hold your hand across the street. You're 12. What do you mean? You better walk across the damn street. You mean hold your hand. You cripple or something? How are you talking about help me tie my shoelace? You're 26. What do you mean? Is something wrong? People have to comprehend that you are going to save yourself. None of these people, not us, not RVB publications, whatever like that, is going to save you. They're just a reference point of how you're going to save yourself. What direction to go to be saved. But don't think that they're saving you. Like I said before, if you really wanted to, who study, we could be badgering these people we call master teachers, like how some people out there do, sending them emails every goddamn minute for nothing. Stuff that you could just go study and find out. What do you send an email about stuff? Real simple things. Do not let escape you. Because if your mind leaves you, somebody else is going to have jurisdiction over it. And then you don't have a choice when you're thinking for somebody else. When you're thinking because somebody put their concepts in your brain. Right? And again, when you hear, for example, like when you hear Taharka Bey talk about, you know, the infiltration in the temples and stuff like that, like that's from personal interaction with these people. That's not hearsay. That's because he engaged some of these Moors. Right? Imagine you go to Moorish Science Temple. Right? You go to Moorish Science Temple, you become a member, you know what I mean? You're supporting, you're doing all the stuff that is required. Right? And you're there months, can't get a Quran. Can't get a Quran. People got Qurans. Everybody got one reading them, but you can't get one. And then eventually, when you do get one, it's given to you wrapped up in newspaper print with stains, juice stains in it, pages bent and all that type of stuff. That's what they give you. And you want to know how come people talk bad about these people? Because remember, it's not about the temple. It's about those people that are in the seat. It's never, ever, ever about the temple. That's why we always bring up, don't forget, we rep RV Bey and we are Moorish Science Temple of America. We rep Taharka Bey and we are Moorish Science Temple of America. We rep Mario L. Bey and we are Moorish Science Temple of America. We rep Rami L. Bey and we are Moorish Science Temple of America.
Yeah.
We rep Rami Salam L. We are Moorish Science Temple of America. And as
I
soon
got
as,
one for a Red Sheik.
yeah, more good.
The experience of showing up to a temple.
Oh
How
yeah,
about
speak on it.
how about you show up? You know, you go to a different jurisdiction. You know, you're doing some research. You're like, okay, it's a temple out here. You know, you just come into the information. It's a temple out here. You find the temple or whatever. You look it up, find it. It's abandoned, but you're not sure. Closed, but you're not sure because it just got glass windows, but you can't see through the windows. You know, the glass windows are real thick and you can't see through them. So you just knock on the window. You knock on the door. Nobody answers. You start knocking a little bit harder. Sure that nobody's there, and you know you're all excited. You're really excited because you were more. You just came into the information. You got your fez on and stuff. You knock on the door. Now nobody answers the door. Then all of a sudden, somebody just opens the door, and they open the door, and they're just staring at you, like basically, and you're standing there with your fuzz on, and you know you're thinking you're about to get the brotherly introduction and greeting and stuff like that, but no, you're getting a stare down look. What do you want? Where are you coming from? Never get invited inside. Like that's the experience I had. And person that could vouch for me, the Grand Sheik was standing right next to me when I was going through it. We was all there. In Pittsburgh jurisdiction. It was the craziest moment ever. And our Moors there, the temple right there. We went there, stood there, looked at us like, "What do you want? What are you doing here?" And that was the conversation. That's how it was. And they closed the door and we left. That's why Moors, when they talk about and Taj and saying the infiltration in the temples and stuff, because we went through this experience. We went through that. We literally went through it. It wasn't like, oh, like they say, there's nothing wrong with the temple. It's just the people in the temple. The person that came to the door and opened it. They would just stand there.
Right.
Yeah, it was there. The gentleman who opened the door, he did the introduction wrong. He didn't do everything he was supposed to be doing. It wasn't the 5 principles when he saw another Moor. He didn't do that.
Yeah, it wasn't even 4 or 3 or 2 or 1 of the principles. Right? It was straight violation. Right? And again, just to
But you're not more or less sharing the temple. But they said you're not more or less sharing the temple.
right. More or less here in the temple, but these people are playing around with the temple.
Yep.
Now we'll just read this one. Just read this one. This was early 30. This is Emily Ill. It was done when I was on my trip around to the temples in 1929. Just a few days ago that it was done in a private meeting. And that meeting took place in August as I visited the different temples. Secret till we met in the convention. And in the midst of our grief for our beloved prophet, they knew we wouldn't be expecting anyone to come in the convention with envy and hate, and railroaded their purpose through, unsuspecting due caution, and to the effect that if there were any laws or resolutions passed that conflicted in any way with prophets, they would not be considered law until the next setting of the Supreme Grand Council, and that body hasn't had a meeting yet. Remember, this is 1930. On his part, as Supreme Grand Advisor before the meeting of the Supreme Grand Council, and is unlegal. That's how much of a fraud these guys are. These Moors are unlegal. These Moors are unlegal. That's how much of a fraud they are, right? Unless he had been given that right by the convention, which body it was that made him that. Then, since the council didn't meet before our next regular national convention, which met in September 15th to September 20th, 1930, the convention to accept him or reject him. They, the convention, this Temple of America, and empowered by the same, according to the Holy Quran, in verse 22, chapter 10, voted the act of the convention of 1929 non-constitutional. Right, remember, this is Moorish Science Temple of America now. voting that somebody's actions were non-constitutional. This man's temple now, because remember, this is at the convention. So how are these Moors trying to tell you something to do with this? Article 6 told you that constitution and treaties, and then they're disconnecting themselves.
Yep.
Completely disconnecting themselves. Just disconnecting themselves, but about other people who are constitutional, just like Noble Drew Ali was. Right? When it made Brother C. Kirkman Bey Supreme Grand Advisor, we sent this brother word to meet us in that convention. At my home, on the day of our convention, he would be with us in the convention. Us. Why? He wanted to see himself. He didn't want to see himself voted out of office. And those that didn't know the law, and there was people who didn't know the law. Even in the 1930s, after Noble Drew Ali, who taught the Moors to enforce constitution and all that stuff, there were still Moors who were violated. And those that didn't know the law as handed down by the great prophet wouldn't be governed by his law. He kept them away too. But the prophet had called them, and if they failed to come, for them. The action of the convention in 1930 was the first victory the prophet won back for them, the true Moors, and elections. So let us never be guilty of that something again. Some will tell you the people will have to say what must be done. The people have nothing to do with it. You be governed by the holy prophet Noble Drew Ali, and you will be all right. A court of justice decided in favor of the defendant, myself. A legal written statement from the court that the case has been tried and a decision rendered by justice on May 7th, 1931. So these frauds even went to court and lost. Court and lost. And they're still around today, posing like they're somebody. And again, because people don't have the info, because every time they go to Moorish Science Temple of America, they get turned away instead of being given the goods. Because trust me, if you read some of the letters that Emile Ill had in the 1930s, you would know who the dirty Moors were too, because he called them all out. Called them out. And again, this is why we say, go to your grand sheiks, go ask them for the Mukarrabin files. Trust me, I'm a grand sheik and I have it. Trust me, they have it. If they have it, they're lying to you. They're suppressing the facts about what happened after Noble Drew Ali died. Because all the facts are in the Mukarrabin files. Get it from them sheiks that you people love to support them for it. Bet you they tell you don't even come back to this temple ever again. And they're not going to do it in the open so everybody could come and ask you, hey, what happened or whatever. They'll just realize that you're not there anymore. And then they're going to say, oh yeah, you left and all that stuff. When no, you came into some truth and you started questioning these people and they got mad. Right? We always bring up again, Moorish Science Temple again. Watch the video of Taj Tariq Bey and Nature El Bey uploaded that like 5-6 years ago with the Moor in that, who his temple, Grand Sheik or whatever, called highwaymen on him. Or Mexam or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
He said a Mexam and they call highwaymen, then saying that he's violating the Prophet because Noble Drew Ali didn't bring that. That was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So
Is that Grand Sheik still in that temple?
Who knows? I know that Moor not in that temple no more. I know that. Severed ties at that point, at that lecture, when again he sat down with the two master teachers, Bey, Asbury Park Temple, and Grand Sheik Taj Tariq Bey. No temple affiliation other than Canaanland and Grand Sheik Nature's Temple. Oh yeah, and Alim Bey's Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Trust that he's a Grand Sheik. Why? Because we say so. We're Grand Sheiks. I'm a Grand Sheik. And I know that he's one. Why? Just like he told you last week. His mom brought him here. Not some Moorish science temple. No, the temple didn't make you a Moor. Noble Drew Ali didn't make you a Moor. Noble Drew Ali didn't make himself a Moor. Don't get into the hoopla. Yes, using the energy, because remember, you know, because he was talking about masterminds that want to try to be on the come up. What do you mean come up? They've been teaching for 20 years. What the hell are you talking about come up? You're the mastermind trying to come up. You haven't heard them teaching for 10, 15 years. All of a sudden, now they got, you know what I mean, PowerPoint presentation and stuff like that. They're presenting stuff all of a sudden. Oh, they were sitting in Taj classes. That's where they were. That's where they were. They were sitting in Moore's Order of the Round Table classes. Talking BS. Now they're against this. You can't be against this. It's actual factual. Right? But we got some more stuff to go through. We just want to take our music break. Take our little music break. Because we got to go in for Drew Ali. And remember, these are all the Drew Ali relative by Iron Sheik. That's all we've been playing since Monday, right? And we're putting it on the record again. Sucks. Where's his Noble Drew Ali songs at?
Dreamy and drooling, falling for the fooling. Mental slaves sell out or get bought out for cooning. Being your example to follow with no strain. Meant means mind, so govern and entertain is more than you imagine. Carbon is melanin, Quran and Bible angels are cherubim and seraphim, riding on the light angles, traveling at warp speed. We created quartz reeds, now we can't walk free. The mind is the plantation, everything is mental. Even filling your brother with lead like a pencil. Mercenaries with chalk use bodies as a stencil. If rival gangs won't stop you, barbed wire fence will. It could take more, but it might take less. Cursing your God on Job's cashing the fake checks, spending fake monopoly money, counterfeit at best. When you see something is wrong, you need to counter as best as you can. man. You don't need a magic wand or to click your heels twice to escape dreamland. Just use your mind. If you can't relate, you're living in an illusion, slave to the dream state. You just heard about Juali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your east state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight, shaken by the shoulders, waking from their dream state. If you just heard about Juali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your east state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight, shaken by their shoulders, waking from their dream state. Invasion. Drew Ali my water when the fire starts blazing. Running with the holy buckets, the Caucasian. While Asiatics daydreaming, mental stargazing. Not paying attention, but paying taxes and fines. Now said the world is yours, it really meant mine. If I ruled the world, you wouldn't want to be black. You wouldn't want to be a deadbeat dad or be whacked for sure. You wouldn't want to be the dirty moral leader, convicted and facing my firing squad either. You won't be put in a box, forget the cedar, taking tires off cars at unexpired meters. If I ruled the world, dirty Moors would hate it. Find them with their wrists slit in bathrooms naked. Find them holding scimitar handles slumped over with suicide notes to Jehovah. If you just heard about Juali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your east state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight, shaken by the shoulders, waking from their dream state. If you just heard about Juali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your east state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight, shaken by their shoulders, waking from their dream state.
Dream state. Don't forget Muftis in the chat. Don't feel bad, you know what I mean? Somebody's ass or whatever in the chat, do your thing. Don't even feel bad. Islam Wars.
People, I'm here.
Islam.
Family, everybody good? Everybody good?
Yeah, yo, we're here, you know what I mean? Just going through some Drew Ali and, you know what I mean? And dealing with the thing. You got to watch the thing?
No, man, but I've been watching you for the last hour or so. But I just, I already know about the dirty. You know, he's like a brother. You know what I'm saying? He's like a little dingy brother that always got crap in his pampers, and we just got to clean him up. There's certain people that act like they little dirty dude with the blanket on the peanuts.
Yeah.
Treat him like that, boy. Just clean him up. That's all. And you doing a great
Pigpen.
job of
Pigpen. He's Pigpen. Pigpen.
Exactly.
Now let me ask this. Let me ask this to you two Moors, because I think we have a troll, so I'll just ask you. I'm gonna ask you a question that they had in the chat. Oh, for the music, willofalah.com. Just .com. It all. Islam to you more for wanting the support. So these Moors, where is the finance, the buildings, the schools, etc.? I don't know who wants to go first, but if you want to throw out your thoughts on that question. Somebody in the chat threw that one out there.
Peace to my brother Yusuf. What's going on, my little brother, big brother? Peace, man. Islam, man. Islam. How you, man? How you been? I'm blissful, more. Anytime I get with you in the sheik, it's even more blissful. But, I hear about that. The finance, yes, I hear about the finance and the buildings and all that. My question would be back to him is, and what are you doing to raise the people? You know what I'm saying? You up on here watching Bujo and listen to Brother Yusuf. What are you doing for the family and the nation, more?
Straight up.
Yeah, I see so many. It is a troll on there. I'm gonna call him. I'm your Boosie, brother. I'm gonna call him out. Andrew,
I forgot you're on there.
One named Andrew, and you got a fez on, but you actually come on, bro. You might as well go do like the prophet say, take off your fez and turn in your button and go back to the streets and do your thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're going on to their they're creating trusts and to help develop businesses and all that type of stuff. And again,
Really?
oh yeah, and another one too that came on there, the USAR.
Oh,
The
okay,
the USAR Moors doing their little campaign on our stuff. Let me tell you guys something about the USAR Moors. USAR Moors, like we told you, that they have a president. They claim they have a president. Right now, they tried to fool people. They tried to fool people. Why they call themselves USAR? Because in the initial stages of them setting that BS up, people is that they claim that they bought a fire truck for their nation, and the fire truck had USAR on it. Now, what they didn't know is that some people study.
So the fire truck doesn't do who they really are called? So it was just the fire truck said USAR, that's who they really are?
The truck itself, right? The truck, right? Posts like, we just got our fire truck or something like that for the nation or whatever, and Moors were going nuts that these guys have a fire truck. Oh my gosh, can't believe it or whatever. Right? What people feel.
I apologize about that. Apologies.
Yeah.
It's comical to me, but
No, it is.
No disrespect, but it is.
No, it is. It is comical, especially when you realize that the USAR on the fire truck is Urban Search and Rescue.
Wow.
Not United States America Republic.
Drop that heat. Put that fire out.
The USAR is Urban Search and Rescue. Not United States of America Republic like they're claiming.
So let me pardon me. So they got a fire truck to go and put out fires at properties and to claim the property, or what? How's that gonna? I'm not. Got a fire truck.
Yeah, they just boarded the Urban Search and Rescue fire truck and played everybody who's part of them right now.
Wow.
Because remember, right now, when's the last time you seen the fire truck? Where's the fire truck at? Where's the fire truck at right now? The same fire truck that they say was their fire truck that they got whatever a year ago or whatever.
Wow.
Where's the fireman for that fire truck? It doesn't mean shit if nobody's gonna drive it.
Right. That's right. Nobody get behind that hose and use the water.
If nobody's not using the water on the fire truck's useless.
Who did they got on the line? Right, you train. Who trained them?
Yeah.
Right.
No, they're gonna have the spell wrong diploma like everybody else that's a fraud out here. They're gonna have the spell wrong degree.
Well, I might have something for you. I'm gonna talk to you a little bit later on that, but I may have something for you on that. We'll talk later, and you know what we were talking about, Sheik, and I'll get with you too on that too, brother. User, we got something in the oven for you on that one. So, but me personally, my thing is this: if you're questioning the works that brother Joe do. You're questioning the works that brother Grand Sheik, National Grand Sheik Taharka Bey is doing. The mothers, Roz, my good auntie, you know what I'm saying? You're questioning the works that they do at RV Bay but what produced? Like, and don't give me this bum-ass hip-hop fire truck or hip-hop one song, one hit. It's not even a one-hit wonder. I can't even call you the one-hit wonder because that song sounds like crap, Taharka. And I wouldn't even play that on a country set, bro. Like, what are you doing to push this of the nation? Interjection is not televised, syndicate, or whatever. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking forward to reaching enough people to wake up so it can be like a domino effect and other brothers and sisters wake up. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for no shine and nothing. But if you're not being productive enough to raise the people, what are you in it for? Be truthful. If you dirty, let it be known. Because I do know you got the red and blue cup, baby. I know about the red and blue cups. You know what I'm saying? I know about the sit down at the conference and talk all day long against Cujo. You know what I'm saying? Against RV. I know all about that. So I can spot a dirty a mile away. Like I said, you know, the little puff of dirt that goes around you as you walk. People can see that.
Pigpen.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's what we call dirty boys now. Pigpens. That's their new name.
There you go.
Pigpen from Peanuts. Pigpen Bays. Pigpen L's and Bays. That's what you guys are now.
There you go.
Never call you dirty Moors anymore.
My thing is, you can tell how some people they do not study. Like my brother Yusuf say. It's high treason that they're doing. They're high treasonous, man. Like, you're so illiterate that you say America is not a continent? Are you kidding me, bro? America's not a continent, right?
Wow.
And then for my brother Ray, he was on the show. I remember he said that. Oh, brother, I tell you, he must have, like I say, he must have had that cup, man. He must have been sauced off the cup, man. Like, whatever he had in that cup must have been really good. Like I had my brother Raymond, you know what I'm saying? Wimpy L, removed Wimpy L on the show, on our platform, and he was straight up flat out. This is Morocco. This is El Morocco.
Right.
And then he tried to shut the brother down. Like, nah, you're not going to shut me down. I'm just going to tell you this is Morocco. You say no to the uniform of prophet, and then you turn around and have the bed witness.
Yeah.
The bed witness on there and say, oh, this is our Morocco, and you agree to it.
If it's not clear, it should be clear if it's not clear. This has nothing to do with, you know, like when you see the verses and all that, there ain't no verses anything. Music, ain't no verses. He sucks. What?
Yes, he did.
Like, yo, as Iron Sheik, it all the time, right? As Iron Sheik, 6 albums and a mix CD. After that, I got like 10 albums. Rock some of the older stuff for him to even battle those stuff. Forget about Iron Sheik 7 and all that. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Things that are pre-Iron Sheik. Right? That's how not ready. That, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the more said, just talk BS about Auntie. We take the of yes, you know what I mean? But has only one son. Right? And most times he leaves stuff alone because you know that's mom's. This is gonna say, you know, don't even bother with them and all that stuff. Right? You know, that'll come up and deal with some things just because we know that we can. Same thing with Moors, who been studying from his reference points and all that. You guys think that it's a game that you guys can just play around with these elders, and it's you know, Moors are towing the line. Moors are towing the line. This is about nationality and it's very, and just throw darts at. It's easy for us to do that. Again, it's still not clear what was going on and why we even tonight. You need to do more studying. The point of the matter all is that ain't no Europeans had any power when the treaty was being established. And everybody in the world knows that Moroccans or Moors kidnapping these European ships. Europeans do. They went to Moors and told the Moors, we need protection because these guys keep pirating us. To say that you recognize us so that we can be under your jurisdiction. Why the Articles of Confederation and all these things happened. There wouldn't be any constitution or none of that stuff. There wouldn't be no United States if there was no treaty. States of America if there was no treaty. There would be no U.S.A. U.S. if there was no treaty.
That's correct. Talks about that in 11 J. Hall, too, just to back that up. It does say that, right? That it wouldn't be no United States Constitution without the treaty. Definitely, I mean, to back you, pardon me, to back Rubio on that, of course. If one studied like the prophet say, you know, he was a constitutionalist. You know, the prophet is a constitutionalist. And it says it right there in the Constitution. The treaty supersedes all. It's the law of the land. Law of the land. The Constitution just secured the right to the treaty. Come on, study, Moors. Get my people to think.
And even on that note, that's even part of the issue too. Right? Like not conclusion. Like the whole point of having a mind is to come to your own conclusion.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correction.
You have the chemistry set just to sit there and do nothing with it. Like you're supposed to be doing your experiments. You're supposed to be, you know what I mean? You preach.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be preaching without practicing. This is not church. You don't preach without practicing. You know, you like we say, you can't be professional, and what you profess, you're in it.
That's right. Yep.
Say that we're Moors, then we should know that. Just like somebody who says, I'm builder, I'm plumber, I'm whatever, and you expect certain things from them, it's expected that you know if you say you're a Moor.
That's right.
That's what the world's expecting. Forget what these bit-back fraud people expect. What does the world expect? Because they're not the instinct. Because they haven't done anything for 100 years. So don't even look at them as to, you know, what it means to be a Moor. Let's go ask these Moors over here who have done nothing for 80 years. Which goes back again to your non-thinking. Because there's people who've been doing this work, getting this information out to the people, that you neglect to give your support. Willingly neglect to give your support. Because they know that it's about birthrights and they know that, you know, it's their birthright too. So they're going to go in 100 just because. Talk about here. You think these Moors think holiday if nobody came? It's gonna go down. It was just steps only. The leadership only, quote unquote. It would have still went down. Same thing would have happened. We had our 2 talks, would have had our Skype, it would have still been no withdrawal. We still would have had cake, food, all that stuff for 12 people. Everybody knows that this is their birthright. They have a right to honor their prophet. And those who honor him, they're gonna do according to what reflects honor. You know what I mean? Because they thought that's what they should do. And it's not against the principles. I mean, you know, when you saw the stuff, children are happy. You know what I mean? Everybody was full, like, you know what I mean? Some people even got some jolly cake.
Wow.
Going back again to the fact that it's Moorish American Week, right? And these Moorish Americans, we're going to throw all of them under the bus. Anybody who's a supporter, a thumbs upper, people's platform, right? They're going to take Moorish American Week to cause division. And they're under the guise of their clearing up confusion or whatever. They're not clearing up anything. Their intention isn't to clear up confusion. It's to keep truth and falsehood strangely mixed. They mix those. They're not going to separate truth and falsehood, but they're going to separate national and divine. They're going to separate church and state. They're going to separate constitution and treaty. But they're not going to separate truth and falsehood of dirty Moors. Truth and falsehood strangely mixed. Oh, another one too. And since he likes to say or use people's names in stuff and put up videos to make it look like, you know, he knows them and they're the whoever or whatever, right? Let's go to his friend, Brother Jose Pimienta Bey.
Oh yeah, that's a great brother right there.
Yeah, that's his boy. Let's go to his boy. Let's go to his boy.
Really?
Yeah, let's go to his boy. Let's go to his boy. Okay. Our fellows children in the New World. Moorish history and identity in the African American experience. Right? Remember, this is, you can go on Moorish World TV or whatever with Jose Pimienta Bey, you know what I mean? Riding his nutsack and stuff like he's Grizzle. Right? Let's hear what he has to say about these Moors and European. The Moors, this is page 84. Witnessing the rise of European Christian political, military, and economic power on an international scale. Europe's power encroaching upon African, Muslim lands and political power. Christian Europe, right? Christian Europe and African Muslim. He's talking about citizens to you? Citizens have nothing to do with this.
Right.
These were wars going on between two political powers that were with religion. My citizens are more than your citizens, so we're going to fight. Spain and Portugal emerged first as the greatest of the Christian powers. Not European powers. Why? Because back then, it wasn't about citizenship. A heathen and who was close to God. Nothing to do with citizens and all that. Citizens and talk empires and republics and all this going on. Muslim, or you're a Christian, Catholic. Pick a side. Spain and Portugal emerged first as the greatest of the, and this was no doubt due and financial inheritance from their former Moorish rulers. Their former Moorish rulers. You know, it only makes sense why they would go to the Sultan and ask their ruler to be recognized. And please give us a little piece of land for us to go on because, you know, we have nothing. Rulers of Spain and Portugal had fought fanatically to subdue the quote-unquote infidel Muslim presence in Catholic countries and spread their political and religious dominions. So the United States of America is a religious dominion. It doesn't have anything to do with citizenry. Later.
Christians first.
Again, we tell you, it's divine and national, you get lost. History and law, because these things go together. You're going to have the correct perspective, these things together. The impact of Catholic Spain's, remember they're talking about Christian powers, now they're talking about Catholic stuff. What is it? What's going on? The Catholic and the Christians are on the same side of the fence. And the Jews were on the same side of the fence. And under Moorish rule, the Christians and the Jews and the Muslims were living peacefully. That they could get in boats and go sailing in waters without passports. Catholic Spain's rise ultimately affected that European countries, European Peninsula, England, Holland, and France being among the most prominent, would develop Protestant Christian traditions which would place them at odds with their Catholic European counterparts. Spain's rise ultimately pulled other Christian countries along in the strong winds generated by Spain's military and economic ascension. All of Europe now stood better prepared to dominate the course of world events. In the 17th century into the 18th century, the imperial Moorish kingdoms and dominions of the Maghreb, North Africa, were increasingly attacked and compromised by European forces. Fatima Harak of African Studies, Fifth University in Morocco, writes, 18th century, European civilization had imposed itself on the world, and Morocco became increasingly conscious of the need to establish peaceful relations with the Christian powers. Was already instrumental in the consolidation of the early Alawid Sultan's rule late in the 17th century. Muhammad Abdullah was Morocco's ruler during this great period of transition. One of his primary objectives was another source of income, which would make him more independent of the earlier tradition of tax collection. Especially under the leadership of Muli Ismail, and to use the kingdom's professional army from the populace. Wanted to break free of this former reliance upon the army as tax collectors. He saw state-controlled maritime trade as a means of generating revenue. By what would still be made painfully apparent was the need for a stable and significant military force, especially naval, maritime trade interests. Legitimate trade would mean the end of centuries of Moroccan piracy, of a new era of international cooperation via new international treaties, Harak writes. Both Morocco and Christian powers gain from the promotion of trade, the liberation of captives, and the easing of tension between the northern and southern shores of the Mediterranean, continual hostility. The Sultan Muhammad III established himself at the most commercial city of the coast, Safi, of both Jewish and Christian merchants. He acquainted himself with European affairs, very close contacts with European merchants, consuls, and a great number of Christian renegades employed in his service. The treaties which were established between Moorish powers under Muhammad III and the Christian powers of Europe were intended to establish peace, protect navigation as the system of maritime trade. So there's his boy, the doctor, Jose Pimienta Bey, letting him know that these Moroccans that were making treaties is described as Moorish powers.
So, Sheik, pardon me, Sheik, let me ask you this, Sheik. So, Taharka's, that's his boy? You telling me he had him on there? That's him?
He had Jose Pimienta Bey on there.
Really?
Yeah.
So have you ever heard Taharka say just what you, even a sentence?
Oh no,
he just read?
I never. He's never even referenced the book.
Wow.
He's never even referenced the book.
And I got one more for you, but I'm gonna fall back. But before I'm gonna ask you this before we get off it, because I'm looking back on these on the thread and listening to you at the same time, Sheik, and this somebody that's not talking reckless, but I think they need a good little spanking. And this is I'm in the mood because I got my belt in my hand right now. You know, Sheik. You know me, Sheik.
Yo, just make sure you use the buckle side.
You know that's what I'm swinging in the air. The first it is first know thyself, whoever this is, and to say he's a USAR representative, and y'all have representatives, huh? Okay, and it says at Supreme and at Cujo. He's on here too, but it says at Supreme at Cujo. How about clearing up the confusion tonight and reading the definition of nationality according to international law?
Look it up.
That's what you wanted? Here you go, Mark.
Let's go into our law dictionary which is international because everybody's going to have one if they study law.
Indeed.
Regardless of where they're at. What am I looking up again? Oh, yeah, nationality.
This is nationality. And this is a USAR representative, he said.
Yes. Keep in mind with regard to USAR, keep in mind that they're going to be posing to you a letter from the Secretary of State. This is them. Just go to the bottom and read the part where the Secretary of State says, recognizing you because your name sounds too familiar to the name already in existence called United States of America Republic. Just remember that part in the letter.
Denial, not acceptance.
Right.
That's a denial,
right. It's a denial.
That's on their website.
That's some letter that they're passing around, posing it as, look, see, you know, we have a fire truck.
That's so like, I mean, with all due respect, but then again, maybe not. But that's so like ignorant. Why would you even show people that if they're denying you?
Because they read it how they wanted to read it. Reading it.
Right.
It says it right there that they're saying, well, you know, we don't know because your name sounds kind of familiar to that they're not having that. They're not gonna let somebody call themselves United States of America Republic. They're not gonna let nobody do that.
And the last time I checked, my president isn't black. My president, Ali.
Islam. Exactly.
That's our president.
That's the president of the Moors that I know. I don't know anybody else who claimed to be president of Moors. Right? But nationality, the quality or character, it was nationality, right? Or nation? Nationality. Okay.
Yes.
The quality or character which arises from the fact of a person belonging to a nation or state. Nationality determines the political status of the individual in reference to allegiance, while domicile determines his civil status. Nationality arises either by birth or by naturalization. According to Savigny, nationality is also used as opposed to territoriality for the purpose of distinguishing the case of a nation having no national territory. So I don't know what the point of reading that was, but if you're calling yourself United States of America Republic, dealing with nationality, that's a corporation.
Indeed.
So what do you mean? What does state have to do with a corporation?
When in actuality, that state, that so-called gave you this so-called authority. I'm gonna use my South Park authority. It's been defunct since 1933, so they don't have no power to give you anything.
Authority.
I love you, Moors.
We're gonna go Carmen on you guys. We're gonna go South Park on you guys.
Foreigners, man, they never did.
Never
did.
And again, you know, the people, how are you gonna call yourself first know thyself when you don't know yourself?
Right.
SAR is your government or whatever. How's USAR your government when that was created for Europeans? We just told you that the Europeans on the run, that's why they created USA. Use those three letters. Why would you even use USA if that was created for Europeans? People Europeans. Well, hey, maybe because the president's name is Cannon.
Europeans, that's right. And they were European convicts. They were convicts. Troublemakers, vandals. Yep. And that reminds me, the brother, the Grand Chief Nature, when he had said, since when did the colonies become states? Who gives them the authority to change from colony to state?
Good one.
They still colonies.
They're still colonies, even today. They just get away with state because they fooled everybody into thinking they're a state. Everybody thinking that they're not corporations, just like they fooled everybody to thinking that they're Americans, just like they fooled everybody to think that, you know, the Constitution suspended, so that means the trees suspended, so that means that habeas corpus is suspended and you can't be free.
They changed their state of mind, their state of thinking. That's why they changed their state of thinking. It goes back to what the prophet said. If I could just get my people to think out of that state.
Oh, and Islam Dion, I got your message. I'm gonna call you tomorrow or something. I'll let you know I got the message. I see you in the chat. Islam. And also too, another thing to go look for, you know, go check the thumbs up and thumbs down meter. If somebody has 40 thumbs up and 20 thumbs down, you shouldn't be on there. If somebody has 40 thumbs up and 40 thumbs down, you shouldn't be on there, right? And then if you go through our videos from the first time that we started uploading until today, if you go through our videos, 5 videos have more than 5 thumbs down, and all those videos are the Taj videos. Because you know he has haters. You know Taj Bay has haters. When you look at the thumbs down that we got, even if you go through the past year, is 5 thumbs down. Right? Because we know that these are the same 5 trolls that always come trolling our stuff. Right?
Oh yeah.
Now, this is another one too.
I bet you want them Taharka, like I say.
Probably.
Always
probably. Now another thing came up that these jokers, USAR said that, so see, you just read nationality and it proves that nationality is through naturalization.
Wait a minute. How did that happen?
I don't know how that happened. I don't know what kind of dictionary they got. I don't know what they're reading here. Let's just read it again. I'll read it again. Yeah, let's just read it again. Nationality, yeah. And then keep in mind.
See, that's how you make hamburgers. Like, what? What you talking about? Peanut butter and jelly. That's how you make hamburgers. What you talking about? That's how you make hamburgers. You get the peanut butter and jelly. That's right. Totally different. You out there, man. Like, no, come on. Pardon me. Before you read that, Sheik, I want to give a shout out to Money for Moors. He say, which indeed is laughter is good for the soul, and I respect that piece.
Peace and love to the Moors, yo. So nationality. Oh yeah, and remember, Noble Drew Ali, right? You're Moorish American because you are descendants of Moroccans in America, right? Born in America. You are descendants of Moroccans born in America. Just remember that born part, right? Nationality, that quality which arises from the fact of a person belonging to a nation or state. Nationality determines the political status of the individual reference to allegiance determines his civil status arises either birth or by naturalization. Now, how
what
did
was
they?
The first, pardon me, Sheik. What was that first one you said?
Birth.
Born, birth.
Yeah, born, birth. Does that sound like apples and oranges?
Right. And if you already know through your bloodline that you can't be naturalized because you already are. You're the Moor. You're the national already. You can't be naturalized. So then when you read that definition and they say or naturalized, who they really talking about?
Exactly.
They talking about subjects of Moors. Moorish subjects, which would be Christians, the modern European. Will be naturalized through us to come here. They're not talking about you.
A European, we'll put this out there, right? A European out here, because these bank whoever were trying to steal his property, his house or whatever, right? Into some classes or whatever, you know what I mean? Let us know, what's going down, bam, bam. We're like, okay. What you have to do is you have to show that you have allegiance with the Moors to get them off your back. He went to them, telling them about he has allegiance with the Moors and all that stuff. They wanted to pay him out. They wanted him to sign a gag order that when they pay him out, he's not going to talk about it because, they really shouldn't be doing this and all this type of stuff. Right? Right? Why? Because this European realized, I'm not more, but I know that I'm not showing allegiance to this corporate state who's trying to steal my house. So forget you guys and your whatever you claim. My claim is that Moors.
They gotta prove that they're not Moorish subjects.
Right? Prove that they're not Moorish subjects.
Look at that. They gotta prove that they're not Moorish subjects.
That they're not.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Right? That was a European. European. You know what I mean? Proud European. You know what I mean? He's not even running from being European. He just recognized that, oh, you know what? Talking about makes a lot of sense. Because I was doing some research on what you guys are talking about, and I get it. Like, I really get it. You know what I mean? I really get where you're coming from.
But if you got the mindset that black was really, like, being black is real, like that's a nationality, now you're getting naturalized as a Moor. Like, I can see you.
Islam, were you there?
Yeah, he might be home or something.
Oh, there he is. He's calling back right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, more. They're trying you.
Oh, of course. You're going too hard. They're gonna cut you right off. Right off. You know. Right off. I totally forgot because now I'm looking at the phone in the moment when I was speaking. What was I saying again? It'll come to me.
Wasn't it naturalization?
Of the U.S. citizenship, and you got to prove that you're a Moor. You prove that you're not a Moor subject. Oh yeah, to be naturalized, doing like if they had the mindset they were black, and they thought black was really their bloodline. And then now they came into the Moors and they're like, oh, I got to get naturalized as being a Moor. Like, no, you were already a Moor, but what do you think you think you were really black? Like, that's crazy. Like, black is not real. Oh,
exactly.
You don't have to naturalize. You were always a Moor. You were just lying.
Yeah, exactly. You were lying. Just like. No, go ahead, Moore.
Don't that go back to someone saying that Moors gave up nationality when they became naturalized? Did I hear someone say that again?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can be all you can naturalize all you want, Moor. I'm gonna stay in my national status as a Moor. So hey, you get with the vaporizer guns because you know they already got the silent heart gun and heart attack guns and all that shit. So when they come down and you about to get vaporized, you can claim you natural all you want. National.
Straight.
Naturalized. Do with you, that's colored.
Oh, what about, did we address the we were in chattel slavery in 1787?
No. Yeah. Well, did we? I don't think we did. We can do it. Take some more things out of
Because one thing, because one thing I wanted to, because you brought up something. Yeah, you brought up something. Yeah, because this idea of we were chattel slavery and not giving any type of recognition to the so-called free blacks, who we know that those weren't slaves that became free. That's why they were called free blacks. They were already free.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They were already free.
Right.
So who are these people talking? They must be talking about themselves when they say they were in chattel slavery.
Yep.
Because I know for a fact that we were prisoners of war. And if we are chattel slaves, it's because we got birth certificates and licenses and all that stuff. Slaves because our ancestors were chattel slaves. We just told y'all that we were the power. We were taking their ships. We were seizing their merchants, taking their goods. These people paying annual tribute to the Moors. Why are they paying annual tribute to the Moors if we're the slaves? We're in chattel slavery. We're in chattel slavery, but they're paying the ransom to us.
Right. Yeah, right.
Why are they paying ransom to slaves?
Regularly scheduled marks. Regularly scheduled marks.
Right? Why? Right? It's no different than how come they're wearing brooches of slaves wearing turbans and jewels and all that stuff. Right? People in their warped mindset. And then trying to convince you of something. Again, let's put a couple more out there. European powers. Yeah, man.
Go ahead. I just want to add on to the brooch definition real quick.
Yeah.
The definition of brooch is an ornament, a decorative ornament you will wear to worship a god. That's the definition. Oh, shakalaka.
Say that again. Say that again.
Under Bridge, Webster's Dictionary, a brooch is a decorative ornament that you would wear to worship a god. That's exactly what a brooch is. So when she wore it as their god, exactly, by definition.
Recognizing the gods.
But you fell asleep in your niggerism, and they became your god.
Yep. Quick, fast.
Wow.
Right, I'm just looking for something.
Wow. because that is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, Black, and Color was given to them, Asiatics of America, who were Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father, and strayed away from the gods of Europe, and strayed after the gods of Europe, whom they knew nothing of. That's what the mindset was warped, and that's how you became slaves. That's wrong.
Right.
And that's the prophet. That's the prophet.
All it takes is study. That's all it takes. Right.
1774.
And then think about that, and think about this too. With regard to the naturalization, right? How come when you lose your lose your naturalization, it's still called denationalization? Because it's really about nationality. It's not about naturalized.
Yep. Wow. Yep.
You're not denaturalized when you lose your naturalization.
Yep.
You're not denaturalized.
And that's right, see, because I can see, I got a lot of Asian brothers, and I mean Asian brothers here, and what's being called DC or the District of Columbia, and a lot of them don't speak on that. Them say I'm naturalized or nothing. You see and hear them say I have a nationality, and I never hear nobody but us talk about being natural or naturalizing.
But again, too, it's
natural. They beat that natural in us.
Yeah, and the other part of it too is that most of the times they're talking to Negroes, so
Right.
it's not even going to be in the discussion. Like they only talk about those things with Moors, Asian Europeans, and talking about nationality and all, or they're not engaging on Negroes and talking about nationality or whatever. It's not happening, right? There's going to be no conversation in the law arena or anything like that, because you already know these people who were naturalized to be over here were told, don't talk to the Negroes.
Right.
Do not engage the Negroes. Only way you engage the Negroes if you want to make finance off them.
From Jordans as well.
Right. Tell them that you got the bootleg Jordans, $50. Oh, they'll talk to you then. They don't got to line up around the store to get some Jordans. Trust, they'll talk to you then. This freaking page, I've been hunting for this page. I wanted to read this too. Just because these guys think Europeans had some power or something like that. Corvettes in the Shriners Parade. A symbol of European ships seized by the Moors. This is on Brother Abdullah's book again, page 70. Corvettes, little ships. Islam, or you have mute available on there? You could just mute. Examining the Moroccan Empire's commercial and military power during the 1500s, 1600s, and 1700s in the context of the transatlantic slave trade claims. The etymology of the word corvette will provide the reader into why the European Shriners use small corvettes in their Shriners Parade, from the French all fast ship. The Moors would sail the corvettes alongside the European ships and go aboard to capture the European captains, sailors, and fishermen. Morocco seizes thousands of European ships. British captives from the Mediterranean to the Atlantic, 1563 to 1760, by Nabil Matar, is based on extensive research in the United Kingdom. Matar presents the role the monarchy, parliament, trading companies, and churches had in ransoming English captives from Moorish captivity from the reign of Queen Elizabeth I to King George II. Their seaborne trade in the Mediterranean basin and the East Atlantic, Queen Elizabeth, and repeatedly found themselves, merchants and sailors alike, clashing with Turks and Moors. At the end of the 16th century, numerous Britons were taken captive in regions extending from the Ottoman Levant and the North African regencies to Morocco, all the way to Atlantic Larash. Half a century later, there were thousands of captives in Algiers and Salé, according to an act of parliament. Between 1609 and 1616, 466 British vessels were seized by the Moors/Algerians. What was the lady's name with your book again, Brother Yusuf? Okay.
Now, I'm glad you was talking about that, because I want to go over in the book. She has because he talks about the treaty and stuff like that. Well, I'm gonna give you how much they were spending money and how much money they were spending to get the treaty.
Yeah.
Okay. The American-Moroccan Treaty of 1786 is significant for several reasons, both related and unrelated to piracy. As the first treaty admitting tribute, its moderate cost distinguishes it from the first agreement with the other Barbary states. The expenditure by Barclay, about 4,000 pounds of sterling, need be added only 13,000 spent by Simpson to obtain the confirmation of the treaty. So just to confirm it, Barclay spent 4,000 pounds of sterling silver, another 13,000 just to confirm it. To Tripoli of 56,000 by annuities, but only Algeria secured presence. And by the exchange of prisoners after the War of 1805, received 60,000 the excess numbers of Americans, well, the Europeans. 297 with Tunisia, negotiated by Barlow, cost 107,000. Peace with Algeria cost almost $1 million in 1795. $1 million in 1795. They paying that for peace. $1 million in 1795 to Algiers, Europeans, right? A report of Timothy Pickering made before Congress on January 6, 1797, $42,500 for ransom and tribute and presents to the Algerian officials. In addition, the United States agreed to build a frigate supply naval stores, right? Which brought the total original cost to $992 million. The annual tribute, $992 million for naval.
In the 1700s.
They didn't have no Navy, but no Army or nothing. So now they try to save up and put together to build the Navy for the naval stores. That's what I'm talking about, the naval stores. Just to put together $992 million. in the 1700s. We talking about they had to get together to stop the Moorish. Because the United States started saying, okay, we're not going to keep paying this tribute. Because if we pay it, we're going to have to pay it forever. Almost raising $1 billion to start the naval force, right? Tribute and naval stores, $144 million for the first 2 years. Between March 4th of 1789 and September 30th, 1801, the day was paid $258,000. You ceased in 1812. So the tribute's over in 1812. Annual appropriations of several thousands of dollars were made for the mid-century. There you go. Leonard J. Hall. All right? Wow. I guess. And if you look it up, it costs 200 notes.
Oh, and somebody, sorry, Morris, somebody in the chat is asking, where's that reference coming from?
Leonard J. Hall, Library of Congress. Wow. I give you the card catalog number. Please. That goes, brother, that thought you can give him that goes to say, I did a showing here in District of Columbia, Maryland Territory, Moreland Territory. They have tags that go on the cars, and the cars is the War of 1812. Say that. And the War of 1812 was on the tags of these cars. And you say they had 900, almost $1 billion back then for the naval. And it goes to show these Europeans here today in D.C., the Department of Defense, misappropriated $14 trillion for defense. 14 trillion went missing for the Department of Defense. They couldn't find it. I guess when Donald Rumsfeld and all that was in, go back and look it up on YouTube, he couldn't, the day before 9/11, they went to court and all that, trying to say what happened to the 14 million, and went towards the Department of Defense. So yes, that all, it correlates. Everything correlates. But please, if you want to give that reference so that brother and sister can look that reference up. The book is the United States and Morocco, 1776 to 1956. His name is Luella J. Hall. You spell it Luella, like Luella. That's crazy too. J. Hall.
Luella just hit me too.
There you go. Look me out. Library of Congress catalog card number 71142-233. That's the Library of Congress catalog card number.
Mm-hmm.
Congress House.
Oh.
Wow. Oh, yeah, 992 million to start the naval.
Oh, one more thing, Brother Yusuf. What about the part about in order to even meet to talk? Say something.
Oh, hold on. Just to have the conversation, it's tribute for that. They had to pay for that. They had to pay legal back.
Right, and again, we're putting all this out that Moors can see you had on these Europeans. Forget pale Arabs set up some whatever arrangement. This is our vast estate. Drew Ali told us that. So if this is our vast estate, who has jurisdiction here?
The Moors.
Don't be fooled by the don't be fooled by the synonyms. Synonyms to try to lose you. They're still talking about Moors. Barbary powers is Moorish powers. Moroccan Empire, that's Moorish Empire.
ask you this because I think I heard something before. I think I heard a brother say, pertaining to the Barbary, that here used to be called at one time the USB, United States of Barbary. Does that have any facts to it?
I wouldn't doubt it, being that they had all those dominions.
I heard that from the Moroccan state, but because I heard that from brother Asir the Duke of Tears, and he's, kind of on point for what I've seen so far.
Yeah. Because I mean, if they got people like that, 900 million. They probably had some states of their own.
Again, people don't realize that it's not so far. Like they think that it's way back, and it's really not that far long ago.
Yep, few hundred years. And even more.
Peace was being. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, more.
It says while peace was being reaffirmed with Morocco, the first treaties of peaceful friendship were being made with Algeria on September 5th, 1795, on November 4th, 1796. Their conclusion put a temporary halt to the building of the United States Navy, which had been inspired chiefly by tax on American ships and citizens. The whole foundation of their whole everything for making armies and Marines and all of that is because of the attack of the Moorish. This day, because of the attack of the Moorish. That's not a movie, that's real life.
Yep. Yep.
That's real life, because they go around every day. You got Veterans Day and all of that. All of that stuff started because of the Moorish. The Moorish was kidnapping and ransoming. They had to do something. But to this day, they still have Veterans Day. You get discounts on veterans and all of that. All that only happens. Oh yeah. In some places, veterans come first. They get first dibs because of the Moors. And the Moors had to put a hope on that. Like, nah. Hey, you gotta pay.
Yeah, you gotta pay.
But we were enslaved. We owned the Atlantic and the Mediterranean, but nobody saw Europeans on ships shipping like them across. Nobody said nothing. We owned it. The Atlantic and the Mediterranean, but we didn't see none of that. It's just coming across us. Nobody seen them. Come on, man. That doesn't even make any sense. We owned it. It said we dominated the Atlantic and Mediterranean.
Dominated. What does dominate mean? We were shadow slaves. How we shadow slaves when they couldn't even get on water?
Right. They were up in the castles freezing, like had to use animal ass just to keep warm.
Right. That's the key.
They didn't have no bathhouses. They was up there shivering, tossing piss and crap out the window. I mean, and you would tell me they know how to navigate?
Yeah.
For someone who don't know how to shower or know any means of bathing themselves and keeping their hygiene up, had to put wood in their mouth as teeth, like some say. You would tell me they know how to cross the waters? Some of them even thought that it was sea monsters out there. Like,
Straight up.
It's killing me, man. It's killing me, man.
There's a lot more. I think that got beat up. I think that got beat up fairly good. If anybody's still confused, you seriously have problems. You need to go check your head. Right? Go check your head. If you're still confused as to who these two parties are relative to treaties, need to go check your head. Because you shouldn't be confused still. It should be clear now as Moors, whether you're in the temple or outside of the temple. I mean, you have a position, you know, and don't be pig pens with your little fly blanket coming around with your fly blanket, thinking that people aren't gonna chase your ass out of here. Dirty.
Dirty. But that's our job, and I appreciate you more. I love you more. We just gonna clean them up, you know. And all we gotta do is get my good bath and toss some soap in there. You know me, I gotta do my daddy thing, so I'm gonna go and you know, put the babies down, and it's always an honor. It's an honor. I honor you, brothers. I love you, brothers. Much love. That's our first principle is love. So I love you, brothers. And like I said, thank you again for having me on. And it's always blissful, Morris. Trust me, it's always blissful.
Islam, peace and love to you, man.
Peace and love to Prophet Noble Ali. Oh man, Prophet Noble Ali, I feel you, brother. Are you here still, brother? You still here, Mark?
Still here. Still here. Islam, Noble.
All right. I'm gonna get out of here. I love you, family, everybody in the chat room. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. I want to thank y'all for allowing me to be here. And we'll catch you on another Canaanland Q&A with partner interjection next week. And I do have some. I want to do a plug. Can I do a plug?
Yeah, more. Go in on them. Plug them, man. Plug them. Plug up them holes.
Don't worry. I got my brother. I got my good brother. He's gonna be I'm gonna have his music. I'm gonna have some of his music soon, more of his music soon. I'm gonna put some more of his music on the video. I got a video with him. Wait till you see the top 10 video this weekend, baby. It's gonna be ooh-wee.
You can't wait for that.
Look out for the top 10 hip-hop music, Moorish American hip-hop music top 10 countdown this weekend is coming. That's the plug I want to give out. I got a nice, hot video for y'all that's coming from Canaanland Moorish, starring my good sister, my great sister, Roots K. And I'm going to let you see who's the other third person on there. And Cujo know who I'm talking about. And that brother is, I guess, I want to say, big reincarnated, but I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone, and I'm gonna let y'all judge for yourself, family, because the brother spit lazy.
Straight up.
And I just want to say peace, Morris. I'm out. I love y'all. Peace, Morris.
Islam.
Islam.
Brother Yusuf, you got any closing ones?
Yeah, I want to give first Islam to the Prophet. Related solar return to the Prophet. It's my title is I'm Yusuf Mutadi L. Making sure they know. So it was a quick plug in like Supreme. You can look me up and subscribe to Moorish Mound on YouTube. Moorish Mound. Yeah, Islam to the chat. You know, and the dirty Moors that was in the chat. I know that the Moors, the active Moors, was swimming with their shark fins up.
Yeah. There's some shark infested chats. Don't get your leg bitten off around here. Don't play. We're not them Moors. Do not play. Islam to all the Moors. We want to say again, peace and love to everybody. I already know. We only do Tuesdays, so you're going to say your own prayers and put yourself to bed tonight. But we will some more music. We're gonna actually close out with some more music.
Now I can officially leave. Pardon me. Now I can officially leave. Both of y'all got y'all shout out.
You still there? Ward. Good thing we weren't talking BS about you, huh?
More, you know what I'm saying? Y'all my brothers, so hey, you do. You still my brothers, so. More, this time peace, more. This my real peace.
It's love, one. Yeah, good thing we're talking about that more. So we're just gonna do our closeout. This is for all of the Moors. You know what's good. This is for all the Moors. And good night.
Yeah. Operation Rapper Inquisition. Still here. Operation Rapper Inquisition. All the gods and goddesses. Iron Sheet is Metropolis, y'all. The deaf won't hear and the blind won't see. The hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. Inept, indirectly, Gu Ali. One of the names of the prophets internationally. Drew said Moors, proclaiming nationality. Cause you're not Ethiopian or NBC. So he founded America's MST in 28. Me saying that it will cause debates. I needed to clear up the mess. But most debate so they can big up their chest. To prove what they know and what they can do. Recreating the wheel that was created by Drew. When you know the truth, many debate, but few humble themselves and suppress the jungle itself. Do them, I just do me, keeping my gold while they trade in their jewelry. Tariq and nature-based schooled me. You fool me? In your dreams, dirty more think they can mule me truly. Who's the real Drew? Me and we. I see more their religion is my mental degree, and where everybody's supposed to be. If not, I guess that's not where you're supposed to be. Hopefully, Drew Ali will be seen openly and realize NBC is something you can be. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. The hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. The hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. The hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. It seems unconscious Moors love the semblance of identity and having no remembrance of the Moorish past, no resemblance of the ancestral land inheritance. Love being the children, not the parents. To do any activity asking for clearance. Their minds like crystal, nothing but clearance. Everyone can progress in their land, the heirs can. It's your status. Stop blaming racists who bleed just like you. If you shank their faces, you walk through here in pyramid spaceships, and they use that as an emblem on their aprons, and can't be free if not Moorish Masons. Black or more Europeans are not Caucasians, coming to the new world to civilized pagans, with boats and harbors from Moscow hills, we sending in agents. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali.
We transcend and ascend in this. It's a journey, just like the Moors traveling. Worlds upon worlds, it's found within. They gotta touch her as we exhale. Pass all the distorted truths and the lies they tell to keep y'all from drinking at the well. Divine love, that's the fountain of youth. Sun peeped it. This is the alchemist secret. The story fight was hard, express God. In every demonstration, I'm penetrating to the depths of the mind. A noble chief, well kept and refined. Your feeling is right like the star Sirius. This musician is the son of man. I look within, Drew Ali on the canvas of my soul to replenish the whole, replacing the old. It's critical, reaching to the pinnacle. Native and original MC that's relevant, and the style is intelligent, but I keep it interesting. Drop it through math in the cipher if you enter in. The law is the center, so study yourself and be renewed. That's elevation, restoration, through contemplation and meditation. Now the soul's navigating, manifesting all creation. The room of this mic, utilizing the light on the path. My body is an astro lab. I take the right actions, and my compass is compassion for internal alchemy.
The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Ask your Garveyite and the NOI too. How come you don't know about Drew? Ask your teacher, Master Masons, or your seafood. How come you don't know about Drew? Go ask your reverend, ask your family crew. How come you don't know about Drew? Ask the warlocks of rap, sipping even witches brew. How come you don't know about Drew? Elijah Bey is the Moorish national. Elijah Muhammad is the straw man shadow. New York after Malachi is owned by the British. So Doc L is on the bureau waiting for the idiots. Mask of gods is Nuwapian's birthright. Teach from Nuwapian Morse paper they want to fight. Circle 7 is the universal flag. I rep that. And Clarence 13X is my dad. Ali came first to save the mindless masses. Went from Moorish conventions to conscious classes. Went from feathers to kufis to baseball hats. Went from Rasta to Moorish. Replace outside. Replace the RBG banner with a Moroccan flag. Replace Ross with cheap blacks ghetto tag. Till I see Triple Crown is the fez with no tassel. Showing temple cards as I need no hassle. Ask your Garveyite and the NOI too. How come you don't know about Drew? Ask your teacher, Master Masons, or your seafood. How come you don't know about Drew? Go ask your reverend, ask your family crew. How come you don't know about Drew? Ask the warlocks of rap, sipping evil witches brew. How come you don't know about Drew? Illuminate rapper Masons, rhyming Moorish science, hip-hop renaissance, reverse Earth's global climate. Out the dark ages, many pages get burned without the chance to flip, be read or turn. No learning, blacks enslaved by the vermin. The Moors victim to Inquisition is purging. The government violating the covenant of contract. Hip-hop general Iron Sheik, no squad to bomb tracks. Moors branded like Louisville slugger bats with a name not theirs, what ab initio contract. Most don't get it, cause they don't study the law. But they come from the galaxy behind the furthest star. To fight legal battles, they higher the bar. Who obtains leave cause you abandon your rights thus far. Told you on Iron Sheik 2, no need to represent. Just study the prophet and what he presents. Most don't stand for what he defends. Most elders over their mouth, they need the pens. Higher self ascends, lower he descends. Conscious without a nation means he pretends. She pretends, which means we pretend. Pick up abandoned birthrights and the healing begins. Build a village strong like 7 North alleged twins. Iron Sheik 100%, most are partly skinned. Ask the Garveyite.
رجعني لوحدي كنت ادور على طريقة وأنا لقيت عليه أعطاني جنسيتي رجعني لوحدي. I was searching for a better way, and then I found you, LA. He gave me nationality and brought me back to reality. I was searching for a better way, and then I found you, LA. He gave me nationality and brought me back to reality. I was searching for a better way. I found you, LA. And he saved me, Drew Ali. He brought me back to reality. And I was searching for a better way. And found you, LA. He gave me nationality. He brought me back to reality. I was searching for a better way. And then I found you, LA. He gave me nationality and brought me back to reality.
Story about a monster creature. The Negro. The Negro is the most deceptive creature on the planet. While his words move in a rhythm meant to hypnotize, he makes himself up to appear to be one thing today and another tomorrow, bringing innocent yet unaware believers to his side, to be fleeced by his minions and cohorts, while he yet lingers with the people, secretly sucking on their energies and living off of their virtues. He positions himself to cause them to believe that he suffers as they do. He feels the pain which they bear, all the while growing fat from their energies, enshrined by their attention. He stores up so much of their borrowed power, he is able to produce monsters out of it, reflections, illusions which resemble himself, appearing to be caring and comforting. These doppelgangers, these abominations he uses as diversions for his escape. Yet his destination is never far, for without the will of the many people to propel him, he is more or less a flightless creature, a creature of almost no substance and no will other than to survive. A cosmic nomad of nefarious origins, he has stumbled upon this planet, exiled from all other sentient civilized systems he once haunted. A being not so much living as lived, existing mainly within the lower baser regions of the mind. Partial to no particular environment, complexion, or political system, he is a bounty hunter, a mercenary who subcontracts his work to willing yet unaware volunteers who forfeit their true profits to him. To the victor go the spoils, but to the Negro goes a more lively and valuable treasure. Like a leech, he grows off of the lifeblood of the living, infecting others and leading them to an existence of the same. An existence that projects scarcity where there is abundance, fear where there is love, and darkness that can only pretend covers light. Honors to the prophet Noble Drew Ali for leading us out of the darkness and into the marvelous light, and for reminding us that we are not Negro, black, or colored, but Moors. Much more, much more, much more.
I was searching for a better way, and then I found Drew Ali.